Wine Spectator just released its complete list of top 100 wines for 2025. I've spent some time analyzing this list and have some thoughts that I'm going to share with you in this video. In addition, I'm going to reveal 6 of my favorite wines from this list. My first observation is that Sonoma was extremely strong. In fact, 4 of the top 10 wines were from Sonoma, and Sonoma made up 10% of the top 100 list. 2023 is the current release for most Sonoma wines, and that was a very strong vintage. So there's a number of different wines from all over Sonoma County that are included on the Wine Spectator Top 100 this year. In contrast, Napa Valley had only 5 wines on the list. In part, that's due to the longer aging requirements for most Cabernet Sauvignon, and so most of the new releases for Napa Valley this year were from the 2022 vintage, which is not quite as strong as 2023. My next observation is that price played a critical role for Wine Spectator when it determined its top 100 wines for 2025. There were a number of wines that sell for between $10 and $20 per bottle, and a full 20% of the list sells for $25 or less. In contrast, at the high end, there were only about 15 wines that sell for $100 or more. While there were 20 wines from France included in the Wine Spectator Top 100 this year, only 5 of them were from Bordeaux. This was a little bit surprising because the current release for Bordeaux is 2022, and this is a potentially legendary vintage that's being compared favorably to vintages like 1982. To be sure, there were 2 wines from Bordeaux included in the top 10, including the Wine of the Year, but it was surprising that there were not more than 5 wines included in the top 100. Like France, Italy had 20 wines included in the Wine Spectator Top 100 list this year, and about half of those wines were from Tuscany. Chianti Classico is definitely a region that I've emphasized on this channel, so I was pleased to see that 1/4 of the Italian wines included in the top 100 this year were from Chianti Classico. The United States had an extremely strong showing on this year's Wine Spectator Top 100 list. In fact, about 1/3 of the wines come from the United States. This is perhaps not surprising, as one of the criteria used by Wine Spectator to select its top 100 is availability of the wine in the United States. California had about 2/3 of the United States wines, but Willamette Valley also did well with 5 wines on the list, and there were also some wines from Washington and even New York State that made the Wine Spectator Top 100 list this year. With that by way of background, it's time for me to reveal my 6 favorite wines from the Wine Spectator Top 100 list this year. The first of which came in at number 13. This is a wine that received a 96-point score from Wine Spectator and sells for around $68 per bottle. Chateau Talbot is located on Bordeaux's left bank in Saint-Julien. It has more than 100 hectares of vineyards that are located in a prestigious area, as its neighbors include the 3 Léovilles: Léoville-Lescasse, Léoville-Barton, and Léoville-Poifferet. About 10 years ago, Chateau Talbot completed an overhaul and renovation of their winemaking equipment and their wine cellars. In addition, in the vineyard, they started letting the fruit ripen a bit more before they harvested it, and they used a much more strict selection. These changes have all paid handsome dividends, and their wine quality has never been higher. This wine features flavors and aromas of blackberry, blackcurrant, forest floor, licorice, and mixed spice. This is a wine that's dominant in Cabernet Sauvignon, but it also includes some Merlot and Petit Verdot. This wine will certainly benefit from a few more years in your cellar and be better with at least 7 or 8, and it should cruise in your cellar for up to 2 decades or more. For only $20 a bottle, it's hard to get a better wine than number 31 on Wine Spectator's Top 100 list this year. This is a wine that received a 90-point score from Wine Spectator. This wine comes from Chianti Rufina, which is one of Chianti's 7 subzones. One of my favorite Chianti Rufina producers is Marchesi Frescobaldi's Castello Nipozzano, which is located only about 30 minutes from Florence. The vineyards located at the historic Castello Nipozzano estate are located at 400 meters above sea level. They experience some cooling winds and also some cooler nighttime temperatures. These factors combine to produce wines of elegance and finesse with ample acidity and freshness. The 2022 Marchesi Frescobaldi Castello Nipozzano Chianti Rufina Riserva features impressive concentration, with red and black cherries, violets, and mixed spice. This is an extremely enjoyable wine that offers an excellent introduction to the Castello Nipozzano lineup. This is also a wine to keep in mind when you're at restaurants, as I oftentimes find it selling for a reasonable price on restaurant wine lists around the world. And the next time you're in Florence, you may also want to consider a visit to Castello Nipozzano, as I very much enjoyed my experience there a few years ago. I'm really not sure why the wine that finished number 15 in the Wine Spectator Top 100 was not included in the top 10. Indeed, just like the wine that finished number 10, this is a wine from Chateauneuf du Pape, but this wine received a higher score and sells for 2/3 of the price of the number 10 wine. This is the Vieux Donjon from the 2022 vintage, which received a 95-point score from Wine Spectator and sells for $65 per bottle. Vieux Donjon is a family-owned estate that was founded back in 1979. They have 14 hectares of vineyards, including some extremely old vines, some of which are 80 years old or more. They only harvest their fruit once it achieves perfect ripeness. Unlike some other producers of Chateauneuf du Pape, they do not produce a super premium wine, so almost all their high-quality fruit is included in this excellent wine every vintage. This wine is a blend that generally consists of around 3/4 Grenache, 10% each of Syrah and Mourvedre, and there's 5% Cinsault as well. This is a wine you can enjoy fairly young. In fact, I had the 2019 vintage during our lunch not long ago and really enjoyed it. But it's certainly also capable of aging in your cellar effortlessly for 10 to 15 years or more. You can expect flavors and aromas of blackberries, ripe cherries, and garrigue. The next of my favorite wines from the Wine Spectator Top 100 list for 2025 is the product of a collaboration between sixth-generation Napa resident and farmer Matt Harden and famous winemaker and consultant Thomas Rivers Brown, or TRB. TRB has been the winemaker for dozens of wines that receive perfect 100-point scores. This wine is from the incredible 2023 vintage in Napa Valley. This is the 2023 Caterwaul Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine received a 92-point score from Wine Spectator and sells for $55 a bottle. This is a terrific wine to consider if you're one of those people who complain that you can't get Napa Valley wines for a reasonable price point. This is a wine that compares very favorably to many wines that sell for double the price point. This wine features flavors and aromas of blackcurrant, cherry, tobacco, and cedar. You can enjoy it young with a decant or at any time over the next 8 to 10 years or so. Chateau Talbot has long been one of my favorite producers, and you really can't go wrong with any of their wines. So I was very pleased to see that their Gigondas finished number 47 in the Wine Spectator Top 100 list for 2025. This is a wine that received a 94-point score from Wine Spectator and sells for $65 per bottle. Chateau Talbot is a historic producer that's located in Gigondas. While they make a lot of wine from source fruit, they also have 15 hectares of estate vineyards. This wine is a GSM blend that's produced from 60-year-old estate vines. In addition to Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre, there's a little bit of Cinsault in this blend as well. This wine has a bit more of a red fruit profile with flavors and aromas that include cherry, raspberry, sage, thyme, and lavender. You can enjoy this wine young with an extended decant and a meal, but it will certainly age for 15 years or more as well. Cheval des Andes represents a remarkable fusion between Bordeaux heritage and Andean terroir. Conceived as a Grand Cru of the Andes, it unites the winemaking expertise of the iconic Chateau Cheval Blanc with the mountain vineyards of Terrazas de los Andes in Mendoza. The inspiration was to craft a wine from ungrafted Malbec vines that were descendants of those once planted in Bordeaux and which were planted at high elevations in the foothills of the Andes. I recently attended a Cheval des Andes masterclass and have the opportunity to taste 4 recent vintages of this excellent wine side by side, including the excellent 2022 vintage, which comes in at number 50 in Wine Spectator's Top 100 list this year. This wine received a 94-point score from Wine Spectator, but received much higher scores from some other critics, and I think the 94-point score is a bit low. Interestingly, this wine also made James Suckling's Top 100 list this year, and it finished number 80 on that list. You can find this wine selling for right around $100 per bottle. In many vintages, this wine is an equal blend of Cabernet Sauvignon and Malbec, although sometimes they include some Petit Verdot as well. The 2022 vintage is a little bit dominant in Cabernet Sauvignon, however, because Malbec struggled a little bit that vintage. A lot of the Malbec included in this wine comes from a historic vineyard that was planted back in 1929, and the fruit from that vineyard adds impressive quality and depth to this wine. This wine features flavors and aromas of blackcurrant, plum, tobacco, cedar, and mixed spice. This wine is definitely quite structured, but the tannins are quite smooth and polished, so you can enjoy it young with an extended decant. While the price for this wine has been creeping up over the years, the quality has increased dramatically as well. If you're someone who enjoys some of the high-end Cabernet Sauvignon-based wines from Chile that sell for 50% more than this, I definitely think that you'd want to give this one a try, as it offers excellent relative value compared to some of those wines. During my masterclass, I also obtained some insights into some of the older vintages of Cheval des Andes. In particular, I found that if you have any wines before the 2016 vintage, you'll definitely want to drink those up soon, as they're beginning to show their age. However, beginning with 2016, they're extremely proud of the wines, and they definitely think that they're age-worthy wines that you can hold in your cellar for 15 to 20 years or more. With respect to the top 10 wines in the Wine Spectator Top 100 list for 2025, I prepared a separate video that contains my thoughts regarding each of those wines. If you'd like to watch that video, please be sure to check this video that's linked above.